All right, we've talked about now from our previous lecture the default routes using a routing protocol. All right, so the lab changed a little bit. I had to pretend that we had an actual internet router. So I put another router out there. I went ahead and gave it a network, one, the one, the one, the one. There's the two, the two, the two. Okay. I had to include RIP because there's no real routing going on, right? It's not an internet router. So they already know about the networks. There is connectivity already. But the whole point of the lab is to show you how to do the default information originate command in this particular router, because this is the router you would do it in. All right, because this is the one facing the internet. You're going to tell all these other routers, hey, this is the way to go using the routing protocol. This is the way to go if you want to get to the internet using a default route. Okay, using a default route together with the routing protocol. Let's get inside the lab and get it done. All right, welcome back, everyone. You can see the lab looks a little bit different. We're going to talk about now, or we've talked about it already. We're actually going to do it. Is the default information originate. What that does is we're creating a static route through RIP to update all the routers saying, hey, if you want to go to that internet server, you want to go to that internet router, well, this is the way to go. And you advertise that through RIP. So instead of getting a default static route, now you have a default RIP route. Okay? So let's go ahead and do this. All right, let's get everything out of my way here. And you would do it actually in the router. Like I said, that's the edge, the one that's pointing to the internet. That's why I got my little public IP address there, right? Now, obviously, this is a lab. There's certain things you're going to do because your provider's not going to share its routing table with you. So in order for me to make this work, I have to configure RIP here, right? Add the network to it that I'm connected to that way too. But you will see that way we have connectivity. So as it is, we have connectivity now, but I want you to see how you get that R with the asterisk. All right, that's the goal of the lab. All right, because you can see that I'm already connected to that. All right, so what we're going to do is we first, and I took out the default static route because we're going to do an IP route like we did before, IP route 000, right? 000. This time we're going to use the next hop address of 1.1.1.2 because that is the internet router. And I'm going to hit enter. The difference that makes it a RIP route is I'm going to go into RIP itself, router RIP, version 2. Make sure I went in there. And then I'm going to go default information originate. Okay? And what's going to happen once you do that, it's going to update all the other routers with an R and an asterisk. Swipe your route. All right, you see that? It shows like that's a static route, whatever. But you can see that's the next router's hop address. If I were to go now to router 2, let's maximize it, and you can see the routing table from before, this is what it was. All right, you can see that I do have connectivity already because I have that. All right, but I have no choice. This is not a real ISP. So show IP route. Now we're getting, hey, RIP default route. I mean, updated by router 3 saying, listen, this is how you get to this place. All right, and you get to it via that interface, the 10.1.1.10. All right, and let's see if router 1 is doing it as well. So, I mean, you normally do this where there's only one router that's connected out to the internet and you just want to create one static route. You can do it through your routing protocol and it will update all the other routers to tell it where to go. And you can see there, you have your RIP with the asterisk, right? So let's say we can ping, and we can 1.1.1.2, right? You can ping the internet router. Now, obviously, in order to make this work, I had to configure RIP on the other router. It's not a real ISP. But just to show you what the default information originate means, because we normally did just a static route. We just pointed the static route to the internet router's interface. But then what made the difference is when you do that default information originate within the RIP routing protocol to update all the routers that, hey, this is a RIP default route. And if you want to get to the internet, this is the way you gotta go. And that's what that's telling these routers, okay? With this R and this asterisk, as you can see right there. Okay, you can see the gateway of last resort is set is pointing to the same one, 10.1.1.6, 10.1.1.6. But you're not doing it manually, you're actually doing it through a routing protocol. So if you have just that one router that's connected to the internet, you can do it through your routing protocol. You don't have to do a static default route, but a routing protocol default route. In this case, it would be RIP. All right, very simple to do. Let me go back to router 3 so I can show you the commands again, even though you'll have the handouts for it. All right, all we did, let's go up. All we did is we created a static route like we would, right? With zeros, meaning default, match anything, but send it out to the next router's hop address. Remember, it's very important where we pointing to. This time we're pointing it to the next hop address, which is the internet's router's IP address. And then we go into our routing protocol and we do a default information originate. You can see that I tabbed quite a bit, but the command is right here. And this is what makes that RIP routing or that RIP default route to tell all the other routers, hey, come this way so you can get to the internet. All right, I'll see you guys outside the lab. All right, that wasn't bad. You see, this is the command right here, right? After, obviously, we created our our default route. I'm going to say static, our default route, but we used the next router's hop address, which was the 2. That's the internet router's interface, okay? And then we came into RIP, as you saw, and we did default information originate, and then all the other routers, when you did a show IP route, or when we did a show IP route, you saw they had the R with the asterisk, all right? That's the whole point of doing that. And you would do it when you have just that single router and you want to tell everybody, hey, this is the way to go to get to the internet. Boom, you have that. Yes, it's going to be a lot better, less updates, less things going on in your network, and everybody's going to know because they're going to be updated through the routing protocol. Simple as that. See you in the next one.